welcome to Viva la Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a very quick, healthy, and easy beetroot soup, or as you would say in Russian language, borscht. Borscht is an Eastern European classic found in many countries of Eastern Europe, and this is quite a delicious, nutritious soup. And sometimes I think we maybe don't like some certain vegetables, or you may have kids at home, or even yourself, and sometimes you're skeptical of, oh, beets, and I don't like beets. But with this soup, I assure you that you will love the soup. It's delicious and you're gonna want to eat more. So let's see what those ingredients are. Now, the soup can be made in many different ways. It can be made hot, cold. Today we're gonna stick to the hot recipe, but there's always slight variations. I'm really trying to go here for something that's more simple and easy for all of us to make since we're all on busy schedules. And I'd like to say that the soup is actually, it includes some preparation, so I always advise you to make sure you be careful, you grab the beets. The first thing is, you kind of peel the beet, and once that beet has been peeled, we're gonna shred that beet. Some people slice it up into slices, and that's totally fine, but I personally like to enjoy the beet a little bit more smoother, and it's very easy to chew. So if you do that, you're gonna end up with something like this. Now, as we get that water boiling, that's going to be our first step to water the boil. That's when you can begin to do the prep, as in, shredding it and cleaning the beet. Again, if you'd rather do that and then turn on the stove, that's fine. But I think for me, I always try to go something as quick as possible. So I usually will turn on the stove, and while the water is boiling, I'll go ahead and prepare that beet shredding, as they would say. Then you're also going to grab some cabbage. Now that cabbage you're going to want to finely chop, but as we know, sometimes you can go to your local market and you find a little bag that's already pre-cut. If you want to do that, that's going to save you time, and if you want to do that, that's also great. But today I went ahead and chopped it. And same goes for the carrots. Sometimes you can find these at the store where they're already shredded. Today I did a little bit of chopping of some baby carrots, but that's definitely to your preference. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so as we can see here, the water is slowly starting to boil. So what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and add in those beets. The beets, again, they've already been shredded, they're ready to go. We'll go ahead and throw those right in. Now those beets, we're gonna let cook on their own for about 10 to 15 minutes. And now as those beets are cooking, what we're gonna do on this other burner is we're gonna turn it on and we're gonna put in a little bit of oil. So I usually like to go a little bit higher on the heat so it can go quicker. Now for the borscht, for the beets, I have them right now on medium-high heat. So we can see now that that oil in the other burner is picking up, so I think it's ready to put in those onions. And we're going to want to let those cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. So after a minute or so, you're going to see the onions start to kind of get a little more translucent, and you can go ahead and lower a little bit the heat so they don't burn. And we're just going to want to make sure to give them a nice little stir. So it's been about 2 to 3 minutes that the onions have been cooking, and so at about that point, we're going to want to throw in some tomato. We'll let it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. So it's been about 2 minutes. Now we're gonna incorporate that tomato sauce. And we'll give it a little stir. And we're also gonna throw in some garlic. Now it's been about 10 minutes since we had the beets cooking, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that tomato sauce with the onions and the tomato and the garlic into the bigger pot. And as we've just thrown that in, what we're gonna do is we're also gonna incorporate now our cabbage. And some of those carrots. And last but not least, some red potatoes. Now this dish, again, we talked about how it can be made many ways. Some people make it with meat. Today we're not making it with meat. We're really trying to go for that quick, healthy, and easy beetroot soup. Now as we have that open, what we'll do is we'll also include some of our seasonings. Personally, I love to use this, it's called Vegeta. Some stores may have it. Other place to find it would be in Amazon. But if you can't find that, another alternative is vegetable stock or vegetable bouillon. Or if not, you can find this at the store, which is called Vege-Sal, which is almost like a seasoning that has a little bit of salt and also some vegetable powders. And so these are all different options that you can use for seasoning that beetroot soup. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and cover that soup for another 10 minutes. So it's been exactly 10 minutes, and what we're gonna do now as the final step is we're gonna add chopped fresh dill. This is the most important secret ingredient, as we would say, because that's what gives it that nice fresh herb taste in the soup. So make sure to have fresh dill if possible. We'll let it sit for another 2 to 3 minutes. And while you're there, I did forget to mention, it's always important to taste as you go. If you need to add a little bit more seasoning, it's never too late. So let's see how that taste is right now. Очень хорошо. Very good. It's delicious. Just hit it right on the salt and the spice and seasoning. But again, if you ever need to put a little bit more, it's never too late. So it's been 2 to 3 minutes since we included the dill, the chopped dill. So now we can go ahead and turn off our stove. And you could let it rest maybe for another 2 to 3 minutes, because obviously when you're eating the soup, you don't want to burn yourself. So you can even take it out of the heat, maybe just let it rest on its own. And a very key garnish, it's again optional if you're vegan and you don't like dairy, that's fine. But if you do, highly recommend to have some sour cream that you're gonna put on the top, and it's gonna taste excellent. It's an absolutely amazing addition to put into the beetroot soup, or borscht as we would say. So let's go ahead and get that plate going. And there you have it. Quick, healthy, and easy. Borscht beetroot soup. So now it's time to enjoy. Приятного аппетита!